Welcome back to the channel, folks. In this video we're going to compare the Bigscreen Beyond version 2e against the new Pimax Dream Air SE. I've had quite a few requests for this particular one, so I hope it's useful. And let's start by saying these two headsets are aimed for the affordable high-end PC VR market. That is not the budget end, such as the Quest 3 and perhaps even the Steam Frame, although that's probably going to be quite close to the price of these headsets anyway. But with micro OLED technology and 2.5K per eye, there's no way these are budget devices. These are still very high end and sits very nicely between that of the Quest and say something like the flagship Dream Air or Megan X 8K. So the specs, well, they're very similar indeed. We've got 2560 per eye on both displays. The lenses, well, let's not muck around here. They are pretty much exactly the same. If there are any differences, I don't notice them, and I'm very picky with this kind of thing. The glare is the same, the sweet spot is the same, the colors, the persistency is the same. Although with the Bigscreen Beyond utility, and I quite like this, you can overdrive the brightness and trade persistency and motion blur if you want to, and that means you get a much brighter image. But with the Pimax software, at 100% is about the same as 100% with the Bigscreen Beyond, and you can't go any higher than that. That's probably the safe way of doing it, but I must admit I do prefer the fact that Bigscreen allow you to go a bit crazy with the brightness if you so desire. So I'll say it again, folks. No, the Dream Air SE does not look any better. The glare, image quality, clarity, sweet spot, it's exactly the same, okay? But where things start to fall down quite quickly is the field of view figures. Now just put the rendering target of both the Dream Air SE, HMDQ settings, there we go, and the Bigscreen Beyond version 2 HMDQ settings. In each case you can see it's fairly similar, but the Bigscreen Beyond does have a much better field of view, not just with the rendering target, but when in practice, when putting it on your head and looking through it, there is a huge difference in field of view figures. For example, with the default face mask that Pimax are shipping at the moment, and I think even with the newer one as well, I'm only getting 80 degrees both sides. That's the smallest field of view I've ever measured. Now to make this complicated, because it is Pimax, I've had to up my IPD +4 to around 68. And with that, using the Studio Form kit, which I highly recommend, or maybe go for a community gasket, in either case I'm getting around 87-88 degrees horizontal. Now I've managed to max that out a little bit more with a Pimax prototype facial interface, which is very uncomfortable and it's not even going to be released anyway, but just to let you know, I got 92 horizontal. So either way it is pretty damn small. Comparing that to the Bigscreen Beyond version 2, well, I'm getting an easy 108 degrees horizontal with the Studio Form interface, and that's not even really pressing it against my skull. And vertically I'm getting 103 degrees. That's pretty impressive. However, the overlap is different because it's around 73% versus about 80%. So there is a difference there, but I will tell you now, interestingly, I can be in the Bigscreen Beyond version 2 for hours, no problems at all. But with the Dream Air SE, for some reason, I'm getting eye strain after about an hour. That could be because the units I have, because I've got two of them, maybe not calibrated properly. There may be an issue with the IPD slider or the particular measurements, or it could be that the refresh rate of the Dream Air SE is just a bit too low for me personally at 72 Hz versus 75, that's a native for the Bigscreen Beyond version 2. Both need to be upscaled though to get to 90 Hz. It's also worth noting that I personally feel the Bigscreen Beyond version 2 performs better overall. I get more frame rate even though I'm using Steam VR, and half of the refresh rate FPS of both headsets. While the Beyond 2 can cope with it better, it's a lot more smoother than the Dream Air SE. So there's no doubt about it, in terms of field of view and performance, the Beyond 2 wins this category. However, the Dream Air SE definitely fights back pretty hard on two main areas. The Beyond 2E obviously has eye tracking, hence the E name, and for me personally, I find it works really well. But I am aware for some people, they've had issues with it. But I have shown it in a recent video and showcasing it very well, might I add. It follows my eyes really well, but it's not the seamless experience that you'll get from Tobii eye tracking with the Dream Air SE. It is absolutely first class. You set it up once, you can change your IPD, you can change the mask, you don't have to worry about it, it's there in the background, works every single time. Bigscreen Beyond 2E, while I still actually think the eye tracking works well, is definitely more finicky and it doesn't work for everyone. So the Dream Air SE wins that one. And of course, when it comes to tracking, well, arguably, the Bigscreen Beyond version 2 wins because base station or lighthouse tracking is always going to be better than inside out tracking or slam tracking. But I will say I'm going to give this one to the Dream Air SE as well because the tracking on the SE is really excellent and you don't need to fork out for base stations, which is definitely an extra cost. Talking of cost, let's just quickly talk about that as well. The Slam Dream Air SE is £830-ish, that's British pounds. The Beyond 2E is £1,249 British pounds, and that's without base stations. So there is quite a significant difference in the cost here, it must be said. However, it does show. When it comes to, obviously, the fit and finish and the way the headset feels and looks, the Beyond 2 feels like a premium and solid piece of VR hardware. Whether the Dream Air SE, while it's definitely better, I like the housing of the Slam edition, it's much better, but it's just not quite up there with the Beyond 2, especially with the added audio strap as well, and that little RGB light is just a nice finishing touch as well. I really would have liked to have seen that with the Dream Air SE. But sadly, you just get basically a very thin sticker as a sort of V shape for the Pimax logo, which eventually will definitely peel off. It's just a matter of time. It's such a shame, but things like that really do let their headset down when it comes to the build quality. Now also, I must mention the cable management. My goodness me, this is just a huge win for the Beyond 2. It's a really nice, light and very, very long fiber optic cable which just never gets in the way. It's really well designed versus the Dream Air SE, which in my opinion is a bit thick, not very pliable, and has the worst splitter box location in the history of VR. It sits right in the back of your neck and it gets hot. It's just a stupid design, and I'll continue moaning about this until Pimax hopefully will address it and change it. But I'm not expecting that to happen anytime soon. In terms of comfort, that's another easy win. With the Beyond 2, you have a whole host of options. You can have a special foam mask that is scanned to your face, which is pretty groundbreaking. However, for me, I find that a little bit stifling and a bit hot and sticky, but they've now released a universal gasket and they've got a hard and soft version. Those are pretty good as well. And of course, you have the Studio Form kits. I do have a 5% discount for all things Studio Form, and I highly recommend them. With all things being equal, with them both having Studio Form kits on them, the Beyond 2 still wins this very, very easily. I can't believe the comfort of the Beyond 2. Using it again recently, it's just amazingly comfortable. It feels lighter, very well balanced, and you can have that thing on your head all day long. With the Dream Air SE, well, I get eye strain anyway after an hour, but you know, if I didn't, I'd still have to take it off after about a couple of hours, and I'd probably have a very red mark across my forehead or my nose from the lenses, trying to get so close to them because of the field of view being so small. When it comes to audio, well, actually the Dream Air SE wins because it has piped audio through the strap by default, and it sounds pretty good actually, on par with the Quest 3. The Beyond 2 has no audio solution if you just buy it on its own, but for an extra £150 or so, you can get a deluxe audio strap, and it really is very good, highly recommended. Just a quick mention about the software. In fairness, Pimax Play is excellent. You get Pimax XR, which is OpenXR, as well as Steam VR support. You have a lot more options. The eye tracking calibration is a lot better versus the Bigscreen Beyond utility, which is simple, but it works really well, to be fair. And in recent days, the Beyond 2 has a better integration with Steam VR. But overall, I do feel that the Dream Air SE wins on the software because you have a lot more options. I could go into it a lot more fine detail, folks, but I think that kind of says it all, really. I also must mention the controllers. I always forget these, folks. Sorry, I'm a flight simmer. I don't use controllers. But the Dream Air SE not only comes with inside-out tracking, but it comes with controllers as well. So that's another extra cost you're going to have to add into the Bigscreen Beyond version 2. If you like Beat Saber or playing zombie shooty type games. And just getting back to the display before I finish, obviously they're both the same, but the resolution, the clarity, the colours are absolutely friggin' beautiful, folks. 2.5K per eye, in my opinion, is a really nice sweet spot for modern hardware to enjoy VR. It's still going to look way better than your Quest 3 or the Steam Frame in terms of raw resolution. Anyway, I'm not quite sure what the pancake lenses are going to look like in the Steam Frame. Got a feeling they're going to be quite nice, actually, but I think you're not really going to compete with micro OLED with those inky blacks. And of course the brightness, they're both quite dim, to be honest. Nothing like that of the flagship Dream Air. And I will say, even though I'm very critical about the Dream Air SE, and at the moment I don't actually recommend you buy it until Pimax sort it out, because there's too many issues, too many teething problems that are going to cause you an absolute headache. My opinion on the flagship Dream Air remains. It is the most beautiful PC VR visuals I've ever seen, and I can't imagine that changing anytime soon, and it's easily my daily driver without any shadow of a doubt. So let's just quickly talk then about the conclusion. It's pretty obvious for me personally that I wholeheartedly recommend the Bigscreen Beyond version 2E over the Dream Air SE right now, even though it's more money, even though you need controllers with it, even though you need base stations. What a shame. And that is frustrating because really the Dream Air SE on paper completely wins this particular comparison with the cheaper price, inside out tracking and controllers, really good eye tracking as well, but unfortunately it has been rushed. I think it would have been better for Pimax to release the Dream Air SE after the Steam Frame, which is going to be around £1,000 for an LCD panel at only 2160 per eye. Pimax should have just taken their time, really refined the headset so that they could come out all guns blazing with a solid competitor to the Steam Frame, but with a micro OLED offering for a similar price point. That would have been a no-brainer. But now all we can see is a headset that has been rushed out and it's not ready. For example, the stems and cable are breaking. The lack of eye calibration on my unit and many others really concern me, and the IPD measurement, which is also incorrect. I've had to up my IPD from 65 to 68 in order to even be in it for an hour, and even then I get eye strain, which also really worries me. The field of view is just hilariously tiny. I've no idea why. Of course, the face mask, which hopefully will be sorted, it isn't at the moment, and it's very uncomfortable and also makes that field of view even worse. For me, it's 80 degrees horizontal. And talking to fellow content creators, some of them have been through 3 units before getting a decent one. How can I possibly recommend this headset right now? And I haven't even gone through all of the issues. The Beyond 2 is just a superb, solid VR headset from a manufacturer that you can absolutely trust. Bigscreen have shown many times over that they are a more professional company, and their headset is an absolute winner. I know, unfortunately, base station tracking is a massive deal breaker for most of you, but really once you've set them up in your room, all you need to do is turn them on and they work every single time. So to close off this video, the Bigscreen Beyond version 2E is the winner of this comparison. I'm sure I've missed a ton of things here, but I can only do what I can do. I don't do this YouTube thing as a professional like gig or anything. It's just a hobby of mine, so I'm bound to miss a few things. But please do let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. If you really appreciate this unbiased and unfiltered opinion on all these VR headsets and you'd like to support the channel, I do have affiliate links in the notes below, including that of the Beyond 2. But for now, that will do. Thank you so much for watching. Please do take care, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.